Hey, we're back talking about the whole first franchise as a whole, and despite what we said about the last movie, we didn't hate the franchise.
The franchise as a whole is really damn good. I mean, most of them we managed to give pretty high marks. It
It,
was
it
just
just
two
fell right in his
ones.
face. It literally just fell right in his face. Wouldn't you say that was the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very good. Until the end, two was the weakest. It still is the second weakest, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and as far as the overall thing goes, I could see why Anderson wanted to get rid of a lot of it because of the meddling. I mean, that producer guy in four was actually a potshot, the producer from two.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that, but overall, it just felt like it did feel Resident Evil for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
with three being the lone exception. Would you agree with that? Three probably is the lone exception of being the most Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
But that was still a good movie. The writing for the most part was good, and when it wasn't all about Alice, which for surprisingly for most of the movie it really wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to a degree. I mean, as much as Five was about her, it was still about everyone else too.
Mm-hmm.
So long as she didn't steal the spotlight, it was good. But except for, I mean, because again, one, she was at her most believable. Would you
Mm-hmm.
agree that was one? She was at her most believable because she was just a character.
Yeah, she was just a character that was thrown into a situation and didn't have full grasp of it because she didn't have her memories.
And even when she started getting back, yeah, she was a ass kicker, but she wasn't like overdone of an ass kicking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But where then in and everyone else was still pretty good, pretty well acted. And like I said before, it felt like it could fit in the game's universe as a side story.
Mm-hmm.
Then two kind of had to merge them together, but looking back, the problem that it had, it wasn't egregious. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it really wasn't in retrospect now that we have something else to compare it to.
Yeah, but it was still it's more the directing than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of course, a father and his daughter, and all that stuff, is good. I think two did it a bit better
Mm-hmm.
than six did. And of course you have Jill. She salvaged that movie, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
For what little we had of her, and now an actress who really dove into the role. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and what would you say about Alice in two compared to all the others? Would you see that was her at her most Mary Sue-ish in two? Coming in and she took charge over an event that in the games was all Jill and Carlos.
Hmm.
Would you agree that? And that too was the most fan fiction-y.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that. It's just like,
Because how they fit it into the events of the game is what I mean.
mm-hmm.
It definitely felt the most, hey, let's, again, cross over into the games. I think that's why 3 went so far the different direction.
Mm-hmm.
It
Because
may-
they wanted to, okay, we realized our mistake, we overcorrected it a bit.
Oh, yeah, overcorrected indeed, making almost all the country a wasteland, the world a wasteland. That was like, what? But again, thematically, 3 felt like a proper conclusion. Not, we stopped all the threats. We brought about, we cured everything, but they did set up the potential for a cure, but they never went anywhere with it.
Mm-hmm. It's
Did you-
just like that plot point just got dropped completely.
Because you know that they brought up that her blood can cure the virus, never did anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do say this: 4 really got the ball rolling in a good direction, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got us Wesker properly handled. Gave us Claire. You continued with Claire. You played off of the events from 3, and you kept going forward in a way that really set things up. And then you ended it with Jill coming in, you're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? And then 5 really ramped it up.
Yeah, 5 was definitely the high point. We're definitely still
Definitely
on that.
agree.
It's like they managed to set up something quickly that made sense within the lore of the world. Like, hey, we developed this facility in order to sort of like demo the potential of this bioweapon to a lot of different countries, which a lot of different countries then bought.
Exactly. And yes, we set up the clones already, and we can do these clones where we can alter their memories. We know they could do that. We've seen that with the Atlases before. Why not do that with others? And then you gave us an interesting young girl and everything. You brought back some popular characters and brought in some game characters people really want to see and handled them with respect, like Ada and Leon, and Barry to a somewhat degree. You brought in Luther, you brought him back, killed him off needlessly, and you brought Rain back. People loved Michelle Rodriguez. It was a crying shame to kill her off in the first one, but they didn't know they were going to continue with it.
Yeah.
Of course, they made her a total bitch in one, at least for bad Rain, but still. And you did stuff with Jill. And then you still, again, that conclusion was a perfect setup. I mean, we've done this before as camera. Playing off of everything else, we keep everything else. What would you have wanted to see for the final movie? Going off of the ending from 6, you have Wesker. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he did give her powers back. All right, it's Wesker working with Alice and the others. Claire and Chris are still missing. Who knows where they are? And it's the Red Queen is controlling all the bioweapons. No, Dr. Isaac, he stays dead unless you find a way to bring him back. What would you have done?
I think I would have kept with that premise, and I think I almost would have liked to keep the final showdown at the Hive, if not for pure thematic reasons. But what I would have done is that most of the movie is spent fighting the machinations of the Red Queen or whatnot. Maybe you can have some kind of a thing where
you could have Isaac back, maybe
maybe the AI's sort of done the thing maybe something a better executed Ultron from the MCU version, where it's just hey, I've had a look at everything, and my whole protocol thing is to protect human life, but I see that from the Umbrella Corporation that humans are quite frankly assholes. And
exactly,
you can even keep the whole wanting to end the world thing,
which we knew she did. They made that very clear at the end of 5 that Wesker said. Now I say this: keep Wesker on helping Alice out. Keep that.
Yeah, keep that sweet enemy mind dynamic where there's tension between the team the whole time as they're racing against the.
And I say this: you could bring Isaac back if you really wanted to do that, but have it be that Wesker had no clue.
Yeah, that
have it be that Wesker, and that could explain why the Red Queen went so homicidal in the 5th movie. Let's be honest, that made no sense, didn't it? Why not have it be that Isaac, the real Isaac, if you want to go with that route, was there, and everything, and he reprogrammed him. Maybe you could even have it be that Wesker had no clue, and when he finds out, he's pissed, because video game Wesker hates being controlled. In fact, that was a key factor. When he found out that he was actually an artificially made human, kind of like Alice, he snapped.
Yeah, and
why not go for that?
And then it changes from a situation of tense enemy mind to, I don't care about the morality, but I'm ending this guy out of sheer spite.
And that, you could have done this. What if Wesker was a male Alice? Because they were almost like brother sister almost throughout 4.
That would have been one hell of a twist.
It'd be completely throwing out everything with the character, but they've already done enough as it is. Why not go for that? They can clone it, have it be that he was a male. It goes with the A name, Alice Albert. Go for that. Maybe have it be that he is a male Alice, but he never knew. And that ticks him off. Play up a little bit more with what the games did. Also, I would say somehow bring Chris and Claire back. They have the whole ensemble. Now, kill off Ada right away. Kill her off screen because the actress was not available. Let's keep that in mind. The actress was not available, so let's just kill her off screen, or maybe have Leon be ticked off that she got killed. Some time has passed, a few days, and they're still under siege. As far as the countdown to humanity being wiped out, get rid of that. That made no sense. And there's 4,000 people left. I'm sorry, that's not enough. 40,000, yes. 4,000, hell no. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
But so now I say, as far as trying to end it, I would say it's more of a case where you get the antivirus. Yes, that's fine.
Yeah, that element you could keep in, that's fine.
But I would more say, don't have it be that it's over there in the Hive. Have it be that's the only facility that's left of Umbrella. Maybe even have Wesker say, maybe even have Alice bring up saying, the White Queen told me that my blood could cure it. To which was oh yes, we perfectly knew that. Yeah, and of course the other would be we didn't. And of course Alice then says, what if we used it? Of course, someone could say something snide, maybe Leon or someone could say something snide well, what do you expect us to do? Pin all these zombies down and inject your blood into them? I don't think that's going to work. Of course, then Alice could say, if the T-virus could be airborne, why can't the antivirus? To which Wesker says, you're right, but the only facility that's left is still in the hive, but the hive was destroyed. No, it wasn't. It was deep enough that it still survived. So that's why they have to go to the hive to try and...
That makes sense.
Because it's the only facility left. Now, should Alice be the real deal? Should she still be a clone of someone?
I think that she should still be the real deal.
Yeah, because that was way too... I mean, great acting from Mila. I will give her that. The makeup on her was really good, but that was the biggest F you. You know what I mean?
It was a super dumb plot.
I mean, the only other thing I could think of is maybe have it be she's a clone of Alicia Ashford, Angie Ashford, or something like that. Or if you want to go for that, keep it back with Ashford at least. Don't go with Marcus and just negate everything. You know what I mean? But also, I say bring back the White Queen.
Yeah.
What happened to her?
I mean, like, hey, maybe you can have her be a part of, like, getting rid of the
Red Queen.
where it's
Yeah.
just like...
Cause hey, Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, she takes over the facility, and that's how you end up producing the cure.
Exactly. And I could so see you're all gonna die down here. And then maybe the White Queen say, yes, but they're all gonna live up there. How's that for a retort?
Yeah.
They're all gonna live up there.
You can even still keep, like, Umbrella kind of being cryo-frozen until the whole...
Oh yeah, that was
situation-
fine. That makes sense from an evil corporate level, doesn't it? I will also say this. I could so see they're only able to generate one vial of the cure at that moment. You know, because obviously Alice has only so much blood to give up. And maybe even bring up why can't they ever, they've cloned her before. Why doesn't they point out, because you've been around long, you've been alive longer, it's caused the cure to develop. Those would take too long, the clones would. And you've been exposed to the virus and developed antibodies.
Those clones are fresh, and
They're fresh, and we're not going to just expose, you were exposed sporadically. Maybe even bring up, did you not it was airborne? Maybe even point out the big plot hole, saying, maybe then the Red Queen could taunt her, say, you've been exposed since you first went into the hive. Like, to which she's like, rewinds back and, flashback saying it was airborne. Like, did you really think I circulated the air filters? You were always exposed. And then even point out saying, since then your body's developed it. Even when Professor Isaac injected you with the T virus, it still created antibodies to deal with the more malicious, undead T virus. Or something like that, you know what I mean? Or something like that, I don't know, but either way though, there's so much more they could have done. And again, make it about everyone else. Now, I'd say kill Wesker off, have Wesker go out. You know what I mean? I could even see maybe Isaac shutting down his own T-virus in him. You know what I mean? Or jabbing him with a negating agent. Not a cure, but like what was done to Alice. And then kill him. I could see that. Or maybe reveal that there's a bomb in his head or something. Some type of countermeasure. And then have everyone else come in. You could still have Alice deliver all the final blows, because she's done that all so far. Now, would you want Alice to live, or would you want her to die? That's a big question, isn't it?
I would say live, if for no other reason than they would, under our proposal, they would sort of still need her blood to make the cure, but that would sort of be like most of her
Well, and
life
for
now.
Becky. And for Becky. In fact, give Becky a badass moment.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Maybe have it be because she's deaf. She's obviously going to be more quiet than others, you know what I mean? Because a lot of deaf kids are more naturally, mute. Not always, but or maybe have it be because she's mostly deaf. Again, they say completely deaf. She acts mostly, but if she's completely, have it be that there's some subsonic area she goes in because it's not going to affect her. I mean, what would it affect her? I've always questioned it. Do you think it would even if you can't hear it? Or is it like not hearing it the problem?
I don't think audiences would care about the difference.
True, but yeah, though, I mean, you get what I'm saying now, right? So there's so many ways they could have ended this that would have been more fantastic. Again, yes, keep Dr. Isaac if you really want to go for that. Let's plug into this actor's Game of Thrones creds. All right? But don't stop making it about Alice. Either way, though, this whole franchise, I would give like a if it was like excluding the sixth one, I would give it an 8. But
Yeah.
given the sixth one, a 6 or 7 overall. What would you say?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Again, unfortunately, it didn't just stumble at the end; it fell on its face. And compared to now I'll say this though, it's nowhere near as the last Showa Gamera movie. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I think that's sort of our
That's-
measuring stick for
It's
it.
nowhere near that bad. 'Cause at least it was also original footage. It wasn't all stock footage, and at least it felt like it was wrapping things up. And at least it felt like it actually was shot well. There was no wonky special effects really, and at least somewhat connected to the plot and all that stuff.
And the actors were good. We can't
Oh
necessarily.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but,
that.
yeah, exactly. The acting was. If we went by the actor alone, I give it like a 7 for 6. You know what I mean?
But unfortunately, they were working off a bad script.
A bad script that I question Anderson's choices. You know what I mean? It's just like, did he just not have it in him? I don't know. But that's all we've got. Thank you for this whole marathon. We were going to do a whole video about the whole marathon, but yeah, we're both burned out.
Both burned out.
Yep, and I got a gig heading home, so I'll catch you guys later. Who knows what we'll see next?